got the Christmas pudding hat out because it's festive. We're festive. I don't have any other Christmas decorations or anything, so this is all you're getting. Hi, I'm Miranda, and today I'm going to be doing the Love Actually book tag created by Grace from GK Reads. Love Actually is a classic Christmas film. It's a film that basically everyone in my family can quote all the way through, off by heart. And yes, it is shit, but we love it anyway, and I love this book tag, so even though I wasn't tagged technically, I don't care, that doesn't matter, I'm just doing it anyway. First question is, Christmas Octopus, which book has the best twist, or what is your most unexpected book this year? I'm going to go with the best twist, and for that I'm saying Hero of Ages by Brandon Sanderson. Is that what it's called? Yes. It's the third book in the first Mistborn trilogy. I love this. It's an excellent ending to an excellent series. I honestly don't remember what happens particularly, apart from the end. It's just everything goes woof and changes, and there's twists everywhere, and it all gets wrapped up beautifully. I can't really talk about it much because it's the end of a series, or a trilogy, but excellent twist. If you're looking for some brilliantly written high fantasy, Brandon Sanderson is your guy. Yeah, I've only read 3 of his books, obviously, this trilogy, but yeah, this was like the perfect end to this trilogy, and I'm very excited to move on to the rest of his works because he has a lot, and they're all huge. Like, look at this, it's massive. How many pages is this? This is 748 pages. It's massive, but they're all so good. I don't want to read them all, but they take so much time. Anyway, enough. The second question is, I actually look quite pretty. Sorry, that's my Keira Knightley impression. What's the prettiest cover of a book you've read this year? So, because I'm me, I can't just choose one. I have 3. First off, one of the very first books I read this year is Treasury of British Folklore by D.D. Chainey. This is like the prettiest book. I'm so in love with this cover. It also has the most beautiful illustrations. Like, look at this. I love it. This would make an excellent gift, actually. I'm filming this on the 20th of December. No one's looking for gifts. Anyway, it's got loads of different, folk tales and traditions. It's great. The second one is a collection of poems, If They Come For Us by Fatima Asghar. This is just beautiful. Like, I love this shade of purple, and these illustrations, oh my god, it's gorgeous. Also, great poetry. Big fan of this. And lastly, another book that I bought for the cover. I didn't love this, but it's The Wicked Cometh by Laura Carlin. Yeah, it's shiny. I'm a sucker for a foiled cover. Yeah, the book was kind of underwhelming, but the cover's great. The third question is, I hate Uncle Jamie. I love doing these impressions of the quotes, it's so much fun. What's the most disappointing book you've read this year? So, again, I have 2 for this, and they're mostly disappointing because these are like incredibly hyped up books and everyone seems to love them, which makes me very sad. Firstly, we've got The Confessions of Frannie Langton by Sara Collins. I think this is good. I maybe read it at the wrong time, but I don't know. I was just kind of like, it's fine. It didn't really do anything for me, which is really sad because like I really wanted to love this, and I think the story is really interesting and I love all the ideas. I just think that like the way that it was executed wasn't great for me. But I'm glad it exists because lots of other people love it. Yeah, that was mostly disappointing because I was like certain I'd love it because it's like so many things in it that I love, which kind of makes me feel like maybe it was me, not the book, and like the time that I read it. So maybe I'll give it another go at some point, but I mean I probably won't because who has time for that? The other book is An American Marriage by Tayari Jones. Yeah, this is another one that literally everyone seems to love. It won the Women's Prize in 2019. So An American Marriage is about a newly married couple, Roy and Celestial, and Roy gets wrongly accused of raping a woman and sent to prison about 1 year into their marriage. And I think my main problem with this was the first section, which was, I thought, the bit that was most interesting, when it was kind of the development of their relationship to start with, and actually Roy being in prison. That was the most interesting part to me, and that felt like it was over really quickly, because Tayari Jones wanted to get to the kind of next bit, but after he got out of prison, and then that part really dragged, and I didn't find it as interesting. Yeah, so I think the kind of pacing issues were off. Like, the writing is beautiful, but it just didn't quite come together. Question 4 is, would we call her chubby? Is that a good Hugh Grant, do we think? No, it's not at all, but we're going with it. Which book do you think gets a bad rep? For this, I'm going for a book that I very recently finished, which is The Witch Elm by Tana French. I talked about this in my last video, and I said that I wasn't expecting very much of it because it has quite mediocre reviews, but I found a cheap copy and I thought I'd pick it up anyway. But I really loved it. Like, I thought it was gripping and exciting and had amazing characterization. So I was really surprised, actually, at how much I enjoyed it, given that all of the reviews that I've seen have kind of been like, yeah, so that was really surprising, and a really nice surprise, because I really enjoyed it, and it was kind of terrifying and kind of spooky and all the good things. Question 5, shout out to my girl Emma Thompson, is, you've made the life I lead foolish. What book has made you most emotional this year? This can only be The Death of Vivek by Akwaeke Emezi. When I finished this book, I rolled over in bed and just sobbed. It was a whole time. Yeah, this book is incredible. One of my favourite books of the entire year. I love it so much. I think everyone should read it. This is about, obviously, Vivek, who is a boy growing up in Nigeria, and he dies. Oh, it's so good, I don't know how to talk about it. It's about grief, it's about family, it's about borders between and overlaps between gender and life and death, and it's just great. Like, I don't know how to describe it, but it's great. I cried, it's beautiful, read it. There you go. Question 6 is, bottle. What translated book was the best this year, or something like that? What's the best book in translation you've read this year? Same thing. Again, I have 2 because I can't choose just one for anything ever. Firstly, Convenience Store Woman by Sayaka Murata. I loved it so much. It's so dark and disturbing, but also funny and unexpected. It's a brilliant kind of account of one woman's desperate attempts to fit into what society thinks that a woman should be, and it looks at her attempts to become what this perfect functioning person in a really creepy, disturbing, but also funny way. Secondly, The Memory Police by Yoko Ogawa, which is about an island where regularly people are forced to forget things. They just disappear from their minds, and they don't know anything more about that object. And this is kind of happening gradually, but things start speeding up, and certain people can remember, but they are taken away by the memory police. Again, it's creepy, it's incredibly kind of dreamlike, and almost feels like slightly transparent, like it's disappearing in front of you. It's really difficult to describe, but it's written incredibly well, in a way that just beautifully evokes the kind of feelings that are happening in the story. It's also got a sort of novel within a novel going on, which I loved, and I thought really enhanced it, because it sort of starts off where you're thinking, I don't know what this, connection is, but then it gradually gets to a point where it makes sense, and the kind of parallels between the two stories become really clear and scary. It is a dystopian kind of book, but it's not sort of fast-paced or plot-driven, and there aren't answers. Like, it doesn't give you anything. It's just about the kind of weirdness and creepiness of this island where everyone forgets things. Lastly, we have All I Want for Christmas Is You, and You, and You. What 3 books are on your Christmas list this year? So I have lots of books on my Christmas list this year, obviously, but my top 3 are probably Hamnet by Maggie O'Farrell, because the hardback is stunning, but £20. But I've also started listening to the audiobook, and I know that I love the writing, but I DNF'd the audiobook because I couldn't like concentrate on it when it was being read to me, and it felt too kind of intrusive in the story. I don't know, there's a whole thing where like me and fiction and audiobooks don't really go together. Secondly, Word Perfect by Susie Dent. Susie Dent is an amazing kind of, well, linguist, I guess. She looks at like the meaning and like origin of words, which is something that really interests me, and this is her new book about like words and shit, and I want it. It sounds great. And lastly, The Betrayals by Bridget Collins, because I read Bridget Collins' debut novel, The Binding, a couple of years ago and adored it. I love it so much. And I'm desperate to get my hands on The Betrayals as soon as I can. It's quite rare that I'm like, I need you now. Like, I'm okay waiting for things, but with this, with The Betrayals, I need it now. And I will probably read it like as soon as I get it. And if it disappoints me, I'll probably cry for the rest of 2021. Not to be dramatic or anything, but we'll see. So that's the Love Actually tag. Thank you so much, Grace, for making this. It made me very happy, and I'm very excited to watch Love Actually again, because I haven't this year. To everyone watching this, I hope that your holiday is as good as it can be. Obviously, you know, don't put too much pressure on it. Like, everything will be a bit disappointing and a bit shit this year, and that's okay, because we will have other years and other times to enjoy ourselves. My thoughts are with anyone who is grieving, or isn't able to spend time with people that they love, or who has been, you know, scuppered by any kind of shitness that has happened this year. I hope you're okay, and if you fancy, I don't know, dropping me a comment and going, yo, I need a friend, I'll be your friend. Yeah, and I hope that you don't have too shit of a time. That's all I have to say. I hope you have a good day, and I will talk to you soon.